I think the main problem with so many statistics is that 95% of statistics are cobblers. And if I might explain that, I think the main problem you have, particularly given that we're focused on London, is you can't make massive countrywide generalisations on anything, particularly in the housing market, which is so polarised between London and pretty much everywhere else. So, reading through the NHF's report and press release, and bearing in mind these guys represent social housing sector, so they have a pretty strong vested interest in their own patch, as it were. But they're saying on one side of things that house prices will increase by 35% by 2020, and that's just not going to be the case everywhere across the country. Sure, that will be the case in certain areas, but then further down their release, they're contradicting themselves by saying that, and I quote, while the housing market in areas of growth is overheating, the story is very different in parts of England where green shoots are nowhere to be seen. And that's exactly the point, is that there are parts of the country that basically aren't seeing the same growth, that aren't seeing this same overheated property market. And, I would suggest that it's those areas that need investment, not what the NHF is calling for, simply to focus on areas of economic affluence. Because if you keep building in the places that are doing well, you simply make those places do better, and the other places that are forgotten about, they're going to continue to kind of languish behind.
Do you question what they say with regard to the number of homes required to meet future demand? They say that we need 240,000 homes, that house building numbers have fallen with just 107,000 new properties built in 2012-13, 11% fewer than in 2009.
Well, their figures are quoted, I believe, from official government figures. I can't independently verify those, but they look pretty much spot on. I don't think anyone's arguing that we need more homes built. I think it's something that that successive governments have continuously said, whether it was Gordon Brown's promise of 3 million homes about 6 or 7 years ago, which was repeated recently by Ed Miliband, the Labour leader, similar figures from the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats in the coalition. I think everyone has agreed that we need more homes. What no one seems to have quite nailed yet is how that gets done. And one, it was an interesting point that came out of the mayor's Boris Johnson's current draft housing strategy for London, where he's actually said we need to have a target of 5,000 homes for rent built each year. These are homes built for private rent, and ideally what the mayor wants to see is institutions such as pension funds and insurance funds building these things and holding on to them over the long term, a bit like offices, in the same way that you have office blocks built and managed by large commercial organisations. You would see the same thing happen with housing, and it's something they do very much across the states, where about a quarter of all housing is done in this way. And many people believe that this is one way of getting around the issue of not enough housing being built and of soaring rents, basically on the basis that you increase supply, you increase the quality, and you get away from a situation where everyone's renting through Gumtree or through some back page of the local paper, and instead you're renting it from a brand, just as you would get a hotel room from Holiday Inn or someone like that.